So now we can go and we can create an action called swap. I did some research and I found this curve pool on base, which I think will be pretty easy for us to use to swap into. So we can create, I'll just kind of take a lot of this because our approval is going to be the same, or same format. So we should be good there. We can call this swap message. We'll do curve contract. But basically, these parameters are pretty similar for what we're going to actually need to do this. So one thing when I was looking at some of these example transactions is that for this, what we're going to call is this exchange function. We're actually going to call this one because it allows us to specify the recipient address. And so, yeah, this I and J is basically the index of the token in the pool. So we'll just create like a little configuration here. Yeah, so we can, this is the elevate, so we can just use, or sorry, this is the curve address, so we can just use this from the curve params. So we can update this to use the curve contract. So this I and this J, so this is the index value for USDC, and then this is CRV USD. So that's what we're going to swap into. So our target so this is the approval. We're pretty much doing the exact same approval from the deposit, except we are updating the contract address. And so the most of our changes is just going to be in the second transaction. So we'll just use the curve contract address. And now this is where it gets a little bit different from the deposit, is that we're going to need to create a separate function to generate the swap call data. When I was looking at this, basically how I think most of it works is you call this function called getDy, and you pass the basically, yeah, the index token for I and J, which we already have, and then this dx is the amount that you want to receive a quote for. So what I think makes the most sense is to create another helper function to generate the swap call data. And so we can take these out first. So the first thing we need to do is get the minimum dy. And I created a separate function. I think it's just going to be easier just to copy and paste this in. And yeah, this might not be the most efficient thing in the world. But yeah, this will be a function that we can use, and we're just gonna, I guess we don't need to get this. So yeah, we're just going to pass in the index for each token, and then we're going to use the amount the input amount for the quote, and then the output amount to get the minimum DY. I just created a public client. You can probably pass this in as an argument. It'd be easier. But then for this, we'll just use the curve params contract address, and this should give us the same thing that you would see on Etherscan if you were to. We're just basically calling this read function get dy with these arguments. The other factor is slippage. So I created another function that is going to basically just calculate slippage based on the amount, and this will basically get us to the minimum amount that we want to use. So how we'll do that is we will pass the result from this min dy into this adjusted minimum output function that will account for slippage. And then we can basically now use these arguments to encode, or essentially to calculate the call data. So this is just going to be curve and then this will be the amount, and then the adjusted minimum amount. And then our receiver, we also want to pass in the user address. And of course, return the exchange call data. So that looks good. Now we need to go update these sections from, or like the actual part where we're generating our message. So we need the amount and the user address. So different order. And we will need to change this. Also, let's import the type. Oh, we already imported it. So that looks good. This needs to be updated. Okay, so it takes the amount and the user address. We don't need the output token. I think we just need to change. Okay. Okay, I think now everything looks good for our swap message. So now let's go back and we'll provide the user address, the curve contract, the output token, and the amount. So yeah, we have this Crosschain. Let's just comment this out. Yeah, so yeah, that's So we do the wallet account.address. That's the address we want to see, the user address we want to pass, the curve contract. I guess, I don't know if we need, I don't think we need the curve contract address anymore. So we'll save that. So now we need the output token, which we have, and the input amount. So that looks like it's successfully generating the Crosschain message. Recipient, we can use the same recipient address because that's the same. It's going to be the same multi-call handler on the destination chain, and nothing else will change. So now we can execute this, and it will, it'll bridge. It'll bridge 15 USDC and take that USDC and swap into CRD USD. So there's our deposit. Same issue before, but let's see. Let's make sure this deposit looks good. So 18 seconds ago, we can see 15 USDC. We're receiving 14.86, so that accounts for the fees for executing the swap on the destination chain. And we have this message. So now we can go to base. "38 seconds ago." We can see there's a fill. We can see we took, the 14.86 USDC and we swapped for Curve USDs. So that looks successful. We can see the events, and we can see, everything was good. So I know that was throwing a lot at you, but I do think that this is kind of a comprehensive way of just seeing all the different examples and things that you can do with the Across SDK. A few things to note. So in this route, we do accept our ETH deposits. So if you're using ETH and you want to deposit native ETH, you can do that by setting this is native to true. It wouldn't work right now since we're using USDC as our deposit token. If this is native Boolean is set to false, it will use WETH for the deposit. We also work on testnets. So if you did want to use testnet, you could set use testnet Boolean to true, and that would allow you to get quotes and everything on testnet. It is worth noting, we mainly support like base Sepolia and Sepolia. We have other testnets you can find in our docs, but that's a good way to kind of test things before you go to mainnet. And if you have any questions, feel free to find me and ask me. I will include the link to the repo and anything else. I'll kind of clean everything up. I know, kind of work through things as we went, but hopefully this was helpful, and looking forward to seeing what people build using the Across SDK.